Alright, drawing session number 3. Let's see what we can do. We're going to start with this guy. I recently got him for Christmas. It's a cool little robot, and I kind of like having stickers in my sketchbooks because it reminds me of a certain point in time. They're like little timestamps in a way. I'm going to put this guy on the front page here just to add a little personality. Mr. T-Bot. I started this one pretty recently. I want to say like maybe a month ago, so there's just a couple of works in here already that I'm going to skim through. We'll save those for another sketchbook tour. I'm currently somewhere in the southern hemisphere and it's pretty tropical over here. So I'm going to pick some colors that help me match a tropical look. I don't need any tape, so I'm going to just put those aside over here. And so many options. Tropical in my mind is green, yellow. I'm going to sketch with a ballpoint pen because it's awesome. That's what we're starting with. Just gonna put everything back. I might use the white for highlights later on, but everything else is going back in for now. Alright, now that we have our tools of creation here, we're gonna get started. I'm excited about this drawing session because there's so much really cool inspiration all around me right now. There's this big beautiful fan palm tree, and there's a mango tree that's starting to bear fruit, and it's very green, and everything looks lively. I'm feeling pretty inspired by the mango here. I think we have our theme. The Mango King. Might be the Kingfisher back here in my subconscious. I want to take a little pause here to stabilize this notebook because it's just feeling a little wobbly. There is also an island in the Nature Barrels archipelago called Mango Island. Alright, that feels much better. I'm going to start with the mango as the central figure. I'm going to keep my lines very light here. I want him to be sitting on this throne. Of course, he's a king. Needs a throne, but he's like a very benevolent king, a philosopher king. He's known for his casual demeanor and youthful attitude, but he'll also drop some serious wisdom if you need to hear it. Legend says he doesn't grow old, he just grows bigger and bigger, very slowly though. And we're gonna give him a thumbs up because he's a positive guy, and he's seriously powerful. Behind him, I'm gonna do 2 fan palm trees to guide your eyes back to the throne as they move across the image. You know, a lot of the times we look for references online, but it's really nice to work off of a reference in real life, like I'm doing with these palm trees right now. These have a very cool zigzag pattern where the branches come off. One of the reasons I really love the sketchbook is because it's unserious. It doesn't have to be anything. It's just for you, and you make the rules. You could do whatever you want. And so, in a way, there's no wrong drawings. It's just experiments and explorations. Or at least that's the way I see it, and it helps me just keep it fun and loose and not worry too much about what it looks like or wanting it to make it better or feeling disappointed about my art. I just try to keep it fun for myself and just keep the ball rolling. I'm getting a little bit of a bend here on the notebook, which is making it a little difficult to work on, just having to press down on it. So we're going to tape it up. Turns out the tape was a hero of the day. Look at that. Much better. I'm going to add some of these cuts up here that the leaves naturally have. I think that's going to tie it together. Make it feel just a little bit more realistic. Not realistic, but just truer to the reference. I'm going to do some zigzags down the trunk here to get that texture. You know, these palm trees look kind of tiny back here. Or the Mango King is huge, which we've actually already established, so we'll go with that. Big mango. I need to come up with something to fill up this space down here because it's feeling a little empty compositionally. It's a little heavy at the top. So let's see what we could do to balance it out. Maybe he's judging a surf contest or something. He's got a good chair already. Throne, I mean. This will be the shoreline right here. I'm going to draw some mountains in the background. I'm going to keep it light back there. The throne is in the sand, so I'm going to draw a little bit of sand kind of coming up the corners here. For the wave setup here, we're going to have an A-frame. I'm not sure if it's going to be breaking over sand or reef, but I guess it doesn't matter. Anyway, we're going to have the wave breaking right down the middle here. Might actually need to stabilize the bottom here real quick. You know, I think I might need to come up with a better solution for this because it just doesn't look super pretty. Feels like a little duct tape fix. But you know what? That's how you start. Better to start than to not start. Because if you start, at the very least, you're going to go somewhere. Alright, anyway, back to waves. I want to draw some contour lines here to capture the shape of the wave. As we get closer to the edge of the wave here, we're going to start to see the front face of the wave because our point of view is kind of from a higher angle here. On the middle over here, on the other hand, it's already breaking, and I need a little bit of white water happening here. Since we're in Mango Island and there's a mango king, it's pretty safe to assume that there has to be a mango population, right? So this little mango over here is going left. There's a little mango guy here that didn't go. Actually, you know what? He did go. And now he's made it out and he's celebrating something. It might even look like he's claiming a wave there. I don't know. This mango over here on the right is ripping a turn off the top. That's what the king wants to see. So these are tiny little mangoes here because this sketchbook is already very small. So I'm just going to focus on capturing like the spherical shape that they have. The important thing is that they don't look like people. They got to look like mangoes. This is a white water that lingers a little bit on the shore. Since I already have some contour lines here on the waves, I'm going to extend those a little bit over here to suggest the texture of the water. This will also help us create a little bit of a sense of perspective. Since this is a surf contest, we're going to need a judging committee, so we're going to add him on the sides of the Mango King. Since the Mango King is giving a thumbs up, these guys would probably also be sharing positive results, I'd guess. Maybe a 9 and 10. And for the guy on the left, I don't think they really like that early claim very much. So this guy is unfortunately only going to get a 7, a 7, and a 6. Even though he dropped in late and got a steep little barrel, it was short. But I don't know, I think they were just not really feeling that claim there. Maybe a little harsh. I don't know. Alright, I'm going to put the ballpoint pen away and get some color in here, starting with the green. Lots of green here in the tropics. Oh, the screen's almost dead, I keep forgetting. Come on, I know you have one more page in you. It's very dead. It's probably the last drawing. I'm actually kind of liking the very soft green. It's a little muted. The Mango King is going to be a yellow-orange. And we're going to start him with a yellow base. And then probably do the shading with the orange. He's a nice, ripe, sweet yellow mango. And so are these guys. And these guys too. Well, speaking of orange, this is what we got, so we're working with it. Here's the orange for the shadows. Actually, maybe he's entirely orange, and the yellow I use for the highlights instead. Yeah, I like that. These guys have a little orange. It's more like their shadows. Only the king can be true orange. And fully ripe, fully delicious. These palms over here actually turn yellow as they get closer to the trunk. And then they turn kind of brown down here. But no browns today, so we'll see what we do. The sand is going to be pink. There's actually a pink sand beach that I've been to before that is very pink. So I know it exists. I want the throne to be that darker pink. And I'm going to leave some white exposed on the edges here because that's where the geometry is going to be reflecting a lot of the light. These mountains in the back might be a little tricky because I want them to be pink, but they should be a little lighter than the pink sand in the front because that'll help us create a sense of depth. But we don't have a lighter shade of this pink. So instead, I'm going to create this split down the mountain that you usually see on simplified mountain drawings where one side is much darker than the other. I'm going to hatch in the direction of the slope here, which is going to help communicate that these are mountains back here. The problem with this blue that I have is that it's very dark. So I'm going to have to go find something a little lighter. I kind of want a light blue. This one looks interesting. It's like, I'm trying to get this in focus here. Aquamarina is what this one's called. Let's see what we can do with this blue. I'm going to follow the lines that I've already laid out for the texture of the ocean here. And I'm keeping it very light to begin with. The ocean reflects a lot of light, so I feel pretty good leaving some of this white space here. I'm going to darken the ocean back here where it's closest to our point of view. You usually want darker in the foreground and lighter or more faded towards the back to help convey depth, since this is sort of in a way, it's a landscape illustration, or an illustration of a landscape. I'm gonna bring in this darker blue for a second here and see what we can do with it. I think it'll help add more richness to the color. I find that usually having more than one color adds very interesting color dynamics. I'm trying to keep it light and loose because this is just a sketch. We're just having fun here, kind of practicing drawing, coloring, just improving our skills little by little. It's a great daily practice. And we're not trying to be perfect, because art isn't perfect. That's what makes art interesting. The subtleties, the irregularities, the subtle imperfections that make it human and somehow more real. Perfect art is not a thing. These mango guys are ripping down here. The white water splashing here is going to be reflecting a little bit of the light blue. Hopefully that's convincing enough. And since we have color pencils now, I'm going to grab this light pink and use it on the light side of the mountains. And I guess now it's officially mixed media, right? Why not take advantage of the color pencils here? I'm going to grab this brown and use it on the palm trunks here. I'm not trying to be perfect here, I'm just trying to capture the fun texture. Now I'm going to add some big bold shadows to the Mango King over here. That's what I was kind of wanting to save this darker blue for. The judges table over here, I feel like they need a little bit of color. I feel like they might be made out of some natural green material or something. I'm going to use this green to emphasize these shadows a little bit here too. Add a little bit more visual interest. I want to go back to the Mango King real quick over here with the ballpoint pen and just give him a little bit more pop by darkening some of these lines here. Particularly the ones that are on the shadow side, on his left side. And I'm going to lightly go over the edges of the throne here. I'm going to darken these up a little bit too. And while we're at it, I'm going to carry it up here, just to tighten up the lines a little bit. And I'm not trying to match the lines underneath perfectly or anything, I'm just trying to a darker shadow line that will become the predominant line. The important here is just to communicate, because that's what drawing and sketching is about. It's about communicating something visually. So here I'm trying to show that there is shadow on the right hand side of the drawing. I think it's starting to look much better with the darker pen lines. And there you have it. Actually, hold on, not yet. Almost there. He's a happy mango, remember? So I'm gonna try to capture that playful personality on his facial expressions. I just remembered I also have the white pen, so I'm going to take advantage of that and use it for some of the reflections, especially on the eyes. Kind of messed up this side a little bit, so I'm going to go back with the orange and cover it up. Mango King. Alright, we're getting close here. I'm going to do the sky, and I'm going to try this blue, which is called Azul Ceruleo. Cerulean blue in English. And with this one, I'm going to go vertical. This will be just a soft light blue sky. I'm going to make the top of the sky here a little bit darker, and I'm going to lean the color pencil this way just to cover more area while I'm coloring. When coloring the sky of a landscape, you can usually do a darker top and a lighter bottom, or the other way around, depending on the type of feel you want to convey. This time I'm going to do a little bit darker at the top and lighter at the bottom. The Mango King of Mango Island. I guess we could call it a surf scene. You know what? I'm gonna do one last thing. I just want to add one more darker value to the orange on the king here, and I'm gonna use this orange pen for that. There we go. Much better. Mango King. What's his name? Maybe I'll add a little teeth here. I feel like he's missing a proper smile. Now it looks like he has a white mustache, or like he just finished a big glass of milk. Let's just fix that real quick with the pen. Boom, there we go. The Mango King of Mango Island. He looks pretty happy. It looks like the guys are ripping. Or the girls. Couldn't tell you. It's kind of hard to differentiate mangoes. I wonder who won the contest though. Thanks for staying till the end. Hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. I'll see you next time.